only thing what you have to do is you'll have to tell us a little bit about yourself. That's because we haven't met earlier. So yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so
Just yeah.
a little bit about myself. So hello,
Yeah.
Patrick Kulik is
His
coming.
audio is connecting. So, but normally the hi Patrick, the concept being that this is like the living room situation. When people walk in, we just stop and say hi to them, and then we continue. So
Yeah.
hi Patrick. We were just yeah.
Pleasure to see you. Hello.
So right
Hello.
now, what was happening was Janus is going to, I don't know, again, but, sorry if I get it wrong, but Janus is going to tell us a little bit about himself. Then you can tell us a little bit about yourself. Then we'll go a little forward as in relation to what's already happened. I'll give you a little
Mhm.
brief. Yes, Janus, please.
So I'm a mediator since 2006, and I'm educated in philosophy and social psychology. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm doing this mediation in a soft way, let's say. And I'm focused now on the family mediation, especially about high conflict couples. So here in Poland, I'm president of the Family Mediators Association. This is the global country organization, and we are about 70 people together in the organization. Is a non-governmental organization, and I also work in Toruń. It's a quite historic city because in Toruń Nicolaus Copernicus was born, famous astronomer, and so I'm involved in the non-governmental organization which is called Fundacja Pracownia Dialogu in Polish. In English, it could be Dialog Lab Foundation. So we run a lot of projects. We find some activities in the schools and also in the family cases, but also we are team 8 people. Among us are lawyers, teachers, non-lawyers, psychologists, and we are working with the also criminal cases like a victim offender mediations or juveniles offenders. So we do a lot, all kinds of the mediation because there's a lot to do in our small town, let's say.
Well, that's a lot of
So
interesting work
I
that
think
you're, yeah.
now it's
Yeah, I think a lot of things are, of course, the kind of things I'm also trying to do. So that's a lot of active role that you have to play in the work that I do in the mediation circle. And Malgorzata is there. I don't know whether she's going to join. She said she'll get in a little late. So if you're listening to us, Malgorzata, how are you? She is here. Yeah. Your audio, we can't hear you. I think there is a audio thing. No, you just have to connect to the right audio from the. So up till then, Janus just introduced himself. Patrick is just going to tell us a little bit about himself. Then we'll get you in. Yeah. Yes, Patrick, please.
Happy to follow on. Cześć, Małgorzata, cześć, Janusz. And great to see you, Vikram. I mean, that's been ages. I remember we've been talking and writing
Yes.
on LinkedIn for a long time. That's the first time when we actually connect. So thank you again for this kind invitation. I'm glad that I can take part in it and listen to and meet other people. Lovely.
Well, thank you.
Mediation is not my first.
Mhm. I'm
Thank
saying
you.
thank you for coming in. Thank you
Do
for
you hear me
coming.
well?
Yes, yes. Thank you for coming. I've said we can hear you. Yep. Yes,
Maybe that's
Patrick.
my connection, but unless you stop me, I will go on.
Yeah.
I am also an educated mediator in Germany, in Heidelberg. I did it when I was working for the German Arbitration Institute. This is a arbitration organization. That's why my background is law. And then I moved to a third-party funder, which is also kind of a private equity way of investing monies, involving putting monies into the possible funding of costs of the arbitration, also mediation, also common court proceedings. Right now, I'm not that much into the business as a mediator, but I'm using a lot of mediation skills. I'm a contracting counsel, in-house counsel for one of the consultancy and companies. So always a mediator at heart. Right now, not that much using the mediation skills when helping the people in the exact mediation setting, but you know better than I do that the mediation skills help everybody to communicate with very many different other settings.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming, Patrick. And of course, I call that the A word. Arbitration is a word we don't use in our events. We don't like to use it. It's a bad word. So, yeah. But yes, Malgorzata, everyone knows you, but you still.
Does it work? If not, I will change the connection. Does
You're
it
okay.
work?
It's okay. Yeah.
Yes?
Yep.
Okay, because there were some technical problems. Thank you very much, Vikram, for this meeting, for invitation. I am very happy we are growing and slowly, but yes, I'm sure the circle will be bigger and bigger. The great information I wanted to share with all of you that, as you know, we have a mediation in heart. I am attorney at law, I am mediator, but also an academic teacher. So what we were talking about to engage students, young people into mediation. And with my colleague that is not present, but I hope we will meet together. We won a grant scientific project at the Jagiellonian University in mediation as an inclusive and sustainable method of resolving conflicts. And yeah, addressee are students. So we start on April 23rd with the first meeting. And if you want to join even online, you're welcome, because we will talk about mediation through 4 countries. And I know that there will be some students. So who knows? Maybe slowly we will have this the interest of students, even though these days young people are so busy that it's difficult to have their attention.
Yeah. But what's going to happen now? I'm thinking, Malgorzata, that we should make Polish the official language of the circle. We should all, you should speak in Polish, and you should use Google Translate or something to just put it on screen, because I feel that people in their own language, sometimes the thoughts come out even better, and I think that people are more comfortable that way. What do you think? What do you think, Janus? Is that what we should do?
No, I don't. I think that you compare with other realities. I think that people that are joining pretty familiar with English. So don't worry. Maybe in the future I will tell you if we will have some guests that maybe will not be familiar with English. But
because because we have Carolina there and Nicole. Please come in. I'm saying, if in case they're not coming in because of the language, please tell them to come in.
No. Carolina is a mediator, attorney at law that I met, a great person. I hope she will be able to even to take on the video so we can see her. And Nicole is my daughter. She's
okay. Get her in.
a law student.
Good. So get her in also. Nicole, please come in. Hi, Carolina.
Hello. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Yes. So Nicole is also here. Hi. Now, look, everyone else has introduced themselves. Now both of you have to introduce yourselves. So Carolina, please, a little bit about yourself.
Hello, my name is Carolina. I'm an attorney at law and also mediator. I teach students also mediation procedures, and I'm interested in international IP law and also IT law. So
very nice, very nice.
That's all I think.
Thank you for coming. Yes, Nicole, Thanks. A little introduction.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I'm studying law. I'm on the 4th year. And now I wanted to participate also because I'm planning to write a little thing about mediation in my in my writing at the end of the studies.
But have you people gone to my website and had a look there as to all there's about more than 700 videos there on various aspects of mediation and the events that I've done. So please have a look at that, because I feel that it's a resource for everyone to use. And the whole idea was that it should be a free resource for everyone to be able to benefit from. So please do that. So now, last time when we met, that launch, I went and introduced the concept of the World Mediation Circle. So are you people familiar with that? So Janus, Patrick, Nicole, Carolina, because Malgorzata is familiar. I took her through the entire thing, so she's familiar. Have you people got a basic idea? Otherwise, I'll introduce the concept to you. So that's not a problem.
I think it will be better if you introduce us, Vikram.
Okay. So what I'm planning to do is, why shouldn't I not open the website in Polish? Should I do it? Because I mean, I can use Google Translate to open it. Is that better? Nice. It's
Yes.
like, because I really feel that we should be using the language. For some reason, I just feel that sometimes we say we want to talk in English. I mean, I don't understand Polish, but I'm okay with people talking in Polish, because that same thing happens with the Mexico Mediation Circle. They talk in Spanish. So I'm okay with that.
With Polish, I am not sure. Okay, let's stop it.
But let's see. I don't know what the translation comes out like. I don't know whether the translation comes out all right or not. Let's see. But I've just done that. I've put it into Polish. Now it doesn't understand Mediator Vikram. So okay, here whether it reads all right. This is what we're doing today. This is the gathering. So launch happens, and then the gatherings of the circle happen. So this is gathering number 1 of the circle. And this is part of the World Mediation Circle, World Mediation Circle being the largest circle, and all these circles being part of that. I call it the World-Wide-Web of Mediation Circles. So this, I feel, each of those are part of my life. So I put golfer there also. It's an important part of my life. So this is, okay. So this is, I'm sure. So this is where you find a little brief on the World Mediation Circle. So idea being that you have this worldwide web of mediation circles. And when I take you through the various circles which have been launched, you'll see how that web is going to function. A little definition of mediation, but adding words. This is taken from the Singapore Convention, but I've added these 3 words here. Now, this for me, I mean, this is informal and voluntary. That part is not missing there. And through a trusted person. I don't know whether this reads all right or not. With a trusted person, because these 3 things are missing there, and largely because I think it's developed from the court system. So what is it? The idea is to bring in a humanistic approach to dispute resolution with heart, soul, spirituality playing an important role, and for people to resolve their disputes and also strengthen and heal relationships. Because I mean, mediation, I keep saying, is like the blind man and the elephant. Everyone looks at it. I mean, some people are looking at it as just settlement conferences. I'm looking at it a little more involved, where people are actually coming in, and for me, that good experience has to happen, and they should connect. And there is like to have a symposium on heart, soul, spirituality, and mediation, about the energy that that is in that space, and lots of those aspects which I won't get into right now. So that's one part. And then what you read here is, now first step is, of course, I mean, resolving disputes, personal disputes. But this is a space which we are creating. It's a community that we are bringing together, where people can come together and have conversations, dialogue, and look at collaboration and consensus building without debates, activism, or advocacy. Because I'm saying that, I don't know whether this reads all right in Polish. You people have to tell me. But those spaces exist. Activism, advocacy, lots of that happens. But who creates a space where people can come together and just have a good dialogue and work towards consensus building? Because I just feel that those spaces don't serve anyone's interest. Because like the next part you will see, my idea is on the larger level to redefine politics, where you're looking at mediators as leaders, and you move away from the divide and rule, because that's what we see around us every day, the divide and rule part of politics. But what about if someone can bring people together and work towards consensus building? So that's our larger aim. I put it there but we'll go step by step. I mean, right now we're just starting off, but as we go along, definitely we should have a larger vision. And I mean, schools, colleges, communities, organizations, all that. But and the whole, I mean, this is where you'll see, well, who are we bringing in? One, we're bringing in people with the mediator mindset. So this whole concept of qualifications and trainings and skill, all that, nothing, certifications, all that out. And of course, opening it out to larger number of people. I mean, sometimes people in a lot of countries think, oh, lawyers have to be mediators or something like that because it's come through the court system. Janus is here. He's not a lawyer, and that's what we need. We have to bring out people. But my idea is that we are going out into communities, into schools, into colleges, and we are not going there to teach them anything. We are asking them, do you have a mediator mindset or a peacemaker mindset? Do you help people resolve disputes? Tell us, give us those names of people who do that. And we are bringing them into a space, which is what I call that circle, which is at the school level, college, organization, community level, of people who are already there, who have that mindset. They're already doing this as a way of life. It's just that it's not called mediation for them. It's just a certain process which comes to them naturally. And so the difference between the mediator and the peacemaker for me is the mediator has the skill to actually sit with people and actually help them resolve it. And a peacemaker for me is someone who brings them together. To get people to sit together to resolve something is also a skill. Everyone doesn't have that skill. So those peacemakers also required. And then the larger community of people who have that mindset, yes, we should resolve our disputes, our conflicts, our fights, our disagreements amicably, and of course, looking at collaboration and things like that. So that's what it is, a little form. I don't know whether people have filled the form, so please fill the form, your details, so like you stay updated, and a little bit of what benefits are there. So yeah, so that's basically the idea. So now some thoughts. Janus, some thoughts.
I think it's a great opportunity, Vikram, because I've seen a lot of your videos with Ken Cloak and other people from Africa, India, all around the globe. So it's really enriching. And so I really like to share and to learn from other countries because I have experience working with the Italian and German mediators during the training project. And it was a great experience to learn how do they think about the mediation and how do they work and how do they proceed. And when you co-mediate with pair with the mediator who is Italian attorney at law, it's completely, different experience that you work with co-mediator who is like you from your country, your culture. So it was a great experience. So I'm really happy that I'm here and I can share and learn and say something about this idea because it's close to my heart. So we are sharing these values, especially because I'm educated in philosophy, especially in philosophy of dialogue. Is a Jewish part of philosophy. It's about Levinas, Martin Buber, Rosenzweig, and there is a lot about meeting of two persons and about what does really meeting mean in fact, and when we get each other and we talk one to each other. So it's really close to my heart and to my knowledge about the philosophy of dialogue. So I would like to share and learn. So I'm happy I'm here. Thanks.
And did you watch those sessions of the symposium on philosophy and mediation? I did a symposium on philosophy and mediation. So
I
have a look.
Okay. I've not seen yet, but I will learn my homework.
Okay, what
now,
I'll do is
so
how to find the information. I'll tell you that also, because what came out of that symposium was that mediators are philosophers in practice and mediation is philosophy in practice. That's what the interesting thing that came out from that. But after Patrick and Nicole and Carolina tell us a little bit about their thoughts on this, then I'll show you where to find information. So yes, Patrick, I mean, I've given you a little brief, but some thoughts, anything that you want to just share right now?
Thanks, Vikram. Great aims, great targets, great idea for sure. And I also need to do a lot of homework and to see what is being around. As I told you, right now, I am not into the business as such. but I'm a huge fan of communication, not only in business context, but also personal context. So everything which gathers people and allows them, helps them to talk is great. And this is exactly what we are missing.
Yeah.
So these are my 2 cents for now.
No, nice. Thank you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the various circles which have been launched. So you'll get an idea of the broader picture. And then in Poland, then we have to, of course, start at the grassroots level. But at least we know, okay, on the global level, this is what we are getting to. So we do want Carolina also to come in and Nicole also to come in. Carolina, any thoughts on what I just up till now, what I said?
Well, I think that it's a great idea because I also agree with my colleagues that when we mediate with people from all around the world, the main problem is the difference of the culture. So we do not know the culture of other mediators of the parties, and sometimes these are barriers that are hard to handle. So for me, such an idea of communication with people from other countries and joining our thoughts and inspirations and learning from each other is something that of a great value, and I believe it will help me to be a better mediator also.
And you people are talking about the cultural differences. For me, the concept is if you connect from the heart, there are no cultural differences, because finally at that level, we're all the same. Everything else, you go beyond the language and you go beyond everything else. That basic self of the person that you can connect to, that for me becomes that one connection, which I think kind of connects all of us. So, yeah. So, Nicole, any thoughts?
Sorry. Yeah, I really like the idea, and I think it's really nice to have YouTube videos with partners all over the world that we can see from our home how does it look in other countries and how they are doing their mediation.
Yeah, the videos that you'll see, I'll check you through that. But the idea from on all the events that I did was that let's talk about topics which in some way affect us in relation to the development of mediation. So it was not about the process, it was about various aspects like mediation in our culture and traditions, heart, soul, spirituality and mediation, philosophy and mediation, language and mediation. Then there's lots of others which happened, but there's a World Mediators Conference which is coming up also. You people have to participate in that, in which people give a topic, whatever topic they want to discuss, and everyone can then come in and get into that conversation. So have a look. Those are interesting topics also. So have a look. I'll tell you how to get the information. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the circles which have been launched so that you get an idea that this is, I mean, it's okay. But let me show them to you and then I'll take your thoughts on this. So one, we have the larger World Mediation Circle, all the circles being part of that. Then we have the country specific ones. So we have like India, like Poland, and lots of other countries. But then we have circles like this also, which is the World Indigenous Peoples Mediation Circle. So similarly, in every country, we have a Indigenous Peoples Mediation Circle. Then we have the Reflective Practice Circle, where we come together to discuss our experiences in relation to mediation, learn from each other. So we'll have a Poland Reflective Practice Circle where that will happen, because mediation being one of those things which happen in a closed space and you don't really have anyone maybe to discuss what you went through. So this becomes your space for that discussion. And of course, that your own development, your own evolution, if it's important for that. Then you have the International Commercial Mediation Circle. So people who practice in that area to come together, and people who will be users also, we bring them in, because we have to get the users in. We have to go beyond the mediation world. We have to get the users in also. Then we have the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So this is the largest circle for that. And then for each of those goals, we will have, I've already launched for goal number 5, which is gender equality. So Global Gender Equality Mediation Circle has been launched. So similarly, other goals. And goal number 17 being collaboration to achieve the goals. Then who better than mediators and mediation for that? So I feel that we will, of course, work on it. Let's feel as we go along. Then we have the refugee mediation circle. So we'll have a Poland refugee mediation circle, because I feel in Poland, definitely this might be an area where a lot of work needs to happen. I mean, just the fact of integration of refugees into society, that's one area to do it. And then within the refugees, and lots of activity which can happen here. I'm just taking you briefly through it, and I'll like to get your thoughts onto each of them. So then you have the International Organizational Mediation Circle, the idea being that we have to create a space for a mediator for every organization, an external person who's all appointed as the mediator. And for workplace disputes also, they have a person to go to. So you, like, I mean, it's like having a general physician. This is your mediator. You go there. The organization has paid for that person, so you don't have to get into that. But important thing is you have a person outside the organization who can immediately come to. I mean, the idea is that you should not have toxic work environment. You should have some space, and a lot of people don't want to go into the hierarchy of the organization. They need some, maybe they feel more comfortable with someone outside. So we create that space. So I mean, we'll come to, because my idea is not just to have that external person, but the external person is also going to be in some way building capacity within the organization. So that one question that I tell everyone to ask is there someone that you know in your organization who helps people resolve conflicts, disputes, fights, disagreements, misunderstandings, whatever it is? So we actually get those people with that mediator mindset within the organization. So you're actually creating a kind of an environment which I call the culture of mediation. So these people are brought into meetings and into maybe even a drafting of an agreement. It could be anything. Bring them in for those meetings. Yes, if you need an external person, you have your mediator that you have for the organization. Similarly, for the family. So this is the International Family Mediation Circle. And Janos said he's working in the family mediation area. So Poland Family Mediation Circle, but of course, part of the larger whole. So you're actually then learning from people from around the world in relation to family mediation. So that international happens, but the country specific happens. But the long-term aim, every family should have a mediation circle. So that's what our aim should be. That's what we have to develop. So building capacity within families, identifying those people, creating that environment. So that's larger picture. I mean, we get there. This is a game that Massimiliano has created for people to experience conflict resolution. So you're not going there to teach them anything. Let them play the game. And playing the game, they learn, and they go back with at least the thought that, yes, this is what they in some way connect to. And if they do connect it, then come into the mediation circle, because you have that mindset. Then the school and college mediation circle. So Nicole, in your college, we have to create a mediation circle. And then we also create the Poland Poland college mediation circle. So we bring other colleges from Poland into that. So Nicole, if you're listening to me, this is something that you have to start immediately, today. Then issues. So environmental, climate change, natural disaster, sustainability. So this is the global. And then right at the local level, in a community, in a school, in a college, they can also create a climate change mediation circle. So in relation to climate change or environmental issues, at least they have a local space to go to, which is what I said, a space where people can come together, have a dialogue, work towards consensus building, and at least get more people into that space. So then issue based. So you can have Israel, Palestine, or Russia, Ukraine, whatever issue. There could be a local issue in an area on that issue. Then of course, country wise. So this Barbados, this is how I was trying to, I mean, I put this up for the concept of the web. So this is a university in India. This is part of the Global College Mediation Circle, part of the India Mediation Circle, part of the World Mediation Circle. So that's how the web functions. And I like to put it up here is because they're not using the word mediation. They're using the word Suleh, which is what they connect with. So the idea is the process. The idea is not to push a word into people's mind. So they connected with this word, they call it a Suleh circle. And in the Arab world also, I mean, Suleh is a word that they connect with. Artificial intelligence, lots to happen here. I've been telling people that, look, you have in your house every day, you have a mediator there. Use artificial intelligence as your mediator, because on one end, we're talking about trainings and making mediators in 40-hour factories. And I said, look, this has much more, I mean, knowledge in relation to what the content that it has. Use it as your mediator. Use it for whatever you want, but at least you have someone to talk to. Rather than zero, at least you have something. And where the humanistic approach, heart, soul, spirituality come there, yes, then if we need a human, or if artificial intelligence can do that, let it do that. But long-term idea is that all mediators in the world, or I'm saying people with the mediator mindset, let them record their experiences in relation to mediation. Let that input be available to artificial intelligence, because today that is not available to it. So it doesn't know what happens in that space because it's all confidential, it's not recorded, nothing. So start putting that somewhere so that it has something to learn from. So what was the issue? What happened? What was the outcome? So solutions, creative solutions, whatever came up. So it has something to learn from. So that's on the long-term kind of thing. Okay, then we have the gatherings of the World Mediation Circles. So 24th of April at 8:30 India time will be, I think, yours. Right now, you people started at 4 o'clock your time. So 5 o'clock your time. So 5 o'clock Poland time, please drop in, same Zoom link. So this is what we do every last Wednesday of the month at, I'm saying 5 p.m. for Poland. So then right now it's 5 p.m. I think when you go into move away from daylight time, it might change. So Turkey, this is Massimiliano's book. So after that, country-wise, this is a community that I live in. So you have the community, you have the Global Community Mediation Circle, India, World Mediation Circle. So that's how the web functions. Then country-wise, this is the book that Ken has written, his latest book. So we discussed that. So please, if you can watch it, I'll show you again where the links are. So you can watch that. And then my anniversary of my YouTube channel. And we have Greece, France, Ireland, Kazakhstan, again Ecuador. There are, like, these are the gatherings after the launch. These are the gathering. Italy, Australia, then International Reflective Practice gathering, then France gathering, then Peru, Pakistan. This is what I was saying, that under each of those goals. So for goal number 5, we have the Global Gender Equality Mediation Circle. So similarly, we can do that in Poland and right down to a local level, local organization, everywhere this can be created. You're creating a space for that particular issue. And then we have gatherings. So Poland, we did the launch. The Mexico, Zambia, Benin, Brazil, Australia gathering, Romania, Ecuador, Spain. Again, largely they were speaking in Spanish. There was an interpreter there, so who helped us. Then Canada, this is what we're doing today. Then New Zealand is coming up. And then there's another one. Actually, there's the USA. Before that, there is the Australia Reflective Practice Circle we are launching. So there are many more which are happening, but I'm just saying put it up till here. So this is the broad picture. So looking at that, Janus, now thoughts in relation to that, please.
I've not seen the previous parts, but at this time when you were speaking, I found the philosophy and mediation videos, so I will do my homework in the future. But I think maybe in the coming activities and the circles from foreign countries, maybe I will try to take a look, maybe not going through the Zoom link, but maybe through the YouTube channel.
Yeah, no, the thing is that the various country-wise one, largely you'll hear me say the same thing. So that won't be so much of an interest to you, because now I'll tell you what I focused on. Now it is, how do we take this forward down to a family, down to a community, to a school, college. So now this is now action-oriented. So yes, like we'll have the event. So the World Mediators Conference is coming up. We'll talk about topics. We'll do that. But for the circles, let's bring more people in. Let's create circles in schools, colleges, wherever we can. So those thoughts and as to how do we get there, and then on issue based and things like that. So that's should be our focus for the circle part. So the idea being, Janice, what is the circle that you're going to be creating? That's the question.
My circle, I think we have a circles like you said, because every third Thursday of the month we are coming together in the Family Mediators Association meetings. We have mediation Thursdays. And we have 70 mediators all around the Poland, and we discuss some issues. For example, on this Thursday, we are getting together with one judge who is sentencing in the family cases, and we are going to discuss the child representative in the family cases. It's different than in the criminal cases. This is quite new regulation in Polish law, family and guardianship law. So we are getting together every month regularly since 3 years. Every third Thursday we are 70, 35, 50 people all around the Poland, and we have a kind of mediation circle. So we are discussing some issues. So I'm familiar with this, and every month we have opportunity to discuss our local, let's say, Polish issues and advantages. And so I'm really happy that you're doing something global, and so we can share our experiences and we can learn from other nations. So sometimes, for example, we are trying to discuss in Poland about mandatory mediation, and for example, Lithuanian, which are our neighbors, they have it. And so we are discussing about, is it possible in Poland as well, before going to the court, then go to the mediator and try to start mediation and try to resolve the conflicts about the families, about the children, etc. So we are discussing now, and on 29th of May, we are getting together with the Deputy Minister of Justice of Polish government, and we are going to discuss about the, let's say, mandatory mediation and other issues, what we should do with the mediation in Poland, because it's not working well, and we have a lot to change, and there is a lot of fields to make a mediation more effective, because now it's kind of, 1.6% of all court cases. So it's not so many cases. We have all year, we have 14 millions of cases in the Polish civil courts. So
14
we
million.
are 14 million, yes.
And what is the population? What is the Polish
population? Is 38 million
Wow.
people.
That's a lot of.
Yeah, there's a lot of court trials. So the courts are not able to manage this number. So we are like supporters of this court system, but there's a lot of private mediation, and so we are going to discuss with the Deputy Minister of Justice what to do with this together with the Minister of Justice.
So, but I'll talk about this, but the important thing is that that means you already have a Poland family mediation circle. That's what the whole thing is. So of course, this will be a separate space, but I think everyone can be part of that. And then we'll have the international family mediation gathering, and everyone can then, of course, learn from each other. That'll be nice. But this aspect of the mandatory mediation and the court-related mediation, if you've watched my shows, I've criticized it so much, because the point is, what is really happening? Judiciary is inefficient, and no one questions the judiciary in most countries. They get away with whatever. In India, it might take 20 years for a matter to get finally disposed of, and they get away with it. They should not be, but they're getting away with it. The judiciary gets away with it. Now you wanted a release, so you said, okay, we will send you off to mediation. But the point is, first of all, you connected mediation and courts, which should not have ever happened. Then you are sending a person into a process, or people into a process, where the mediator is going to tell them that the judiciary is inefficient, they will take so much time, it'll cost you so much, so you should settle. Now, that's not mediation for me. That is a settlement conference. I call them settlement conferences, because the person is not going to go back with a good experience, because the person has settled for the wrong reasons. I'm saying that we have to develop the culture where a person goes to a mediator before the person goes to a lawyer. That's the kind of thing that I'm trying to do. But then today, to promote that concept, you need those mediators there, which means the people with the mediator mindset. So because training, certifications are not what makes mediators. It is that mindset which is available with a lot of people. So that's why I'm trying to start at the grassroots level by identifying these people, create a global database. Anywhere in the world you are, You know that, okay, this is someone who's there. You can go to this person first, and then you have the peacemakers who bring them together. A lot of times people don't want to approach the other person. So peacemaker can help that. So that's the kind of culture I feel that's what government should have been working on. But they came under pressure from the judiciary. They created legislation because to in some way work for the convenience of the judiciary. No one looked at development of mediation. Years, I mean, we've got legislation lying for years in countries. Nothing came out of it. I mean, you send people to say, you basically in a matters filed in court, you tell them to go for mediation first. The lawyers will not first of all let them go there. And we have a law here in commercial matters. You have to first go at least send a notice for mediation. Out of all the matters, 1%, 1% of that gets there. Get to a stage that after the notice, yes, people have sat together. Out of the 1% also, I mean, those figures are zero. They think of it almost as zero. It's not because not, and it's not going to be helpful for mediation, because what you're going to go back is, oh, I settled because I was told to. In some places, the mediators have put pressure on them because the structure is such they get almost nothing. But if the settlement happens, they get a little more. So they push people for settlements. And the people who are going into courts have no idea what is this mediation. Okay, the judge has sent her somewhere. Okay, we'll go and sit there. They don't even know what the role of the mediator is. I mean, it's the worst thing that has happened. And I don't. If you can avoid it, just don't let it go in that direction. Tell the government, look, we should go out in the communities wherever we have to start developing a culture of mediation and identifying people right there, and let them to start with the simplest of things. Very simple, could be the most simple issue. Let them at least experience the process. Let them experience a mediator. But that's my work. We had a whole symposium on mediation legislation, so a lot of this I've discussed there. But we'll get Malgorzata in. She had raised her hand. Malgorzata, but yes.
Yes, thank you very much. I think that these are two parallel directions, two approaches that maybe I am not so agree with you, because they are two approaches, and I think that my colleague is right that maybe if we had a possibility sometimes to have these parties and the, as you said, settlement meeting, maybe it would be a first time they would experience mediation. So, for example, as it is in Italy about mandatory mediation, you have a possibility because you have to go to the mediator. And then after that, we say, yes, it's voluntary. So if you don't like, you will not do it. It's not that they will force to settle. So this is the first thing. And yes, when first times I had lectures about mediation at the international conferences, and my colleagues, attorney at law, with this litigation expertise, they were like, oh, okay, Margaret, again with this your mediation, yes, sure, go to schools. And they told me, go to schools. And I was like offended, I am talking with serious people. I am talking in Mumbai about expansion of mediation, commercial dispute, and they are, okay, go to schools. And they are right. For that reason, I say it's the second and parallel direction that we have to go to schools. We have to talk about. I am very happy. I didn't know, Karina, you also have lectures about mediation. At the university, I am a teacher. There is not a mandatory subject, but voluntary, and students, I am very happy. It's the third year they chose every year the alternative. I have two subjects. The one is alternative dispute resolution, and I am talking about mediation, of course. And the other one, the alternative, how is the name? The alternative path of profession, something like that. And this is about mediator profession. And the third one is mediation as the alternative dispute resolution method. So we have to go to schools, we have to give those informations, because really I have also lectures with managers at MBA courses, and they are like just that, oh, I didn't know about this possibility. So I think there's absolutely a huge need, even though we have many conferences, we speak a lot about mediation, but it's also my my point of view that we are always the same, the same persons, like always those that believe in mediation, and okay, but maybe this is okay that one by one, as I said, slowly we take one person, one attorney, because this is also that maybe I explained to people why attorneys at law are so, or okay, step back, are not so into mediation. And this is true. We weren't educated for mediation. I didn't have any lessons about mediation. So we also have to understand those generations of attorneys for whom litigation was like, the one and the only one way of conflict resolution. And we have to explain, and this is only the way, I think. But I am sure we have to follow two approaches. So the education is the one, but also some help from the system to have a possibility to give those people possibility to know about mediation. And this is also cultural question. Like in some countries, maybe sometimes we need to be a little bit forced to do something.
So I think that's why first thing is that what is mediation is the first thing that we have to answer. What do we think is mediation? Because it's very nice to even talk about mandatory mediation, which are oxymorons. First of all, oxymorons are being used. Mandatory mediation. I mean, what are you saying? Is it mediation or is it mandatory? So those words, first words itself create the issue to start with. And then, like I said, let's look at any place. Where has that concept of the courts sending people to mediation resulted in actual mediation development? And for me, mediation development is when the first port of call is to go to a mediator. Because if you are saying people should experience mediation, experience it, then that means that there has to be some word of mouth after that. But if you look at the US, everyone might say a lot of mediation and development. If you go into that space and you find out nothing happened beyond the courts. And because it's such their inefficiency might, in terms of years, might be less. I'm saying 20 years in India might be 3 years there. But inefficiency, for that they got sent into mediation. The lawyers have taken control of mediation. It's totally a settlement conference, and the mediator is actually, for me, it's just a puppet in the hands of those lawyers, and the lawyers appoint the mediators also. So it's the worst thing that has happened for mediation. And let's look at some country where good things have happened in relation to, because it was pushed through the courts. Well, let's get that example where on the ground it has changed things. And from the way I'm approaching it is, mediation is not a rocket science. It is a human interaction. And there are people for whom it's a way of life. Let people experience those people right wherever they are, wherever, in schools, families, communities, wherever they are. Let people talk about those experiences, because there are children in school who are helping their friends resolve the most simple, could be the most simple thing. They're helping them, but no one talks about it. They don't talk about it. What do we have in schools? We have a culture of debates. We have a debating society. What about telling people that this kind of a thing is happening? These children are helping them, and which is what this idea of the circle is that when you create that school, the circle in that school is with those children who have been identified by the children themselves. That, oh, this person has that mindset, this person has helped me, and that little conversation where they will tell us about their experience, that gets circulated. okay, this person did this, I had this issue with so and so, at the most simplest level, because it's basic human interaction. So, but let's get Janus he's got his hand, then we have to get Patrick and also be happy here. Patrick hasn't spoken yet. Patrick, we'll get you in 1 minute. 1 minute, yeah. Yeah, Janus.
So thank you. I would just mention that, like Małgorzata said, that being forced to mediate, it's not the same to being forced to settle. And in many European countries, you have to go to the mediation and try. And I agree with Małgorzata that I would like to meet the parties, not their proxies, not their attorneys, because I think in Poland, attorneys are the gatekeepers, and they are putting the brake against the mediation evaluation and the development, because in
Sorry,
Poland,
I'm only one part of attorneys.
Yeah, let's say part of attorneys, but my experience is the worst attorney at law in my mediation room is a attorney at law mediator as well. Sorry, I have to say this, because he knows how to conduct the mediation, what is the process like he was taught. And I work sometimes a little bit deeper. And he says, don't talk about the feelings, emotions in the commercial mediation. And I ask, why? Why we don't have the time to go deeper, not just about the bargaining about money.
Exactly.
What would you give and what you receive? Yeah. So I think we have in Poland cultural problem, because our primary reaction in the conflict is go to the court. And in Polish papers, when you sue something, you have to write if you tried mediation. And some of the lawyers, they write down, for example, parties didn't try the mediation because they are in conflict. Oh my God, this is the finding a wheel and discovering the America, let's say, in our European perspective. So we would like to get the people for the meeting and tell them about the mediation, and you decide. This is kind of mediation opt-out. So you just get into the mediation room, and this is voluntary, and you can stay, okay, but you can leave and you can go to the trial. So it's your decision, not your lawyer, because he will earn some money. But if you would like to resolve this, you can stay.
No, you've answered, Janus. You actually answered what I've been saying, that when they go into that space, maybe they've been told you can walk out. The space that they've gone into, and you've called it mediation, where that particular lawyer mediator has said what he said to you, that this is not commercial, is not about emotions and not about relationships. Maybe, I don't know, whatever he says. So they're not experiencing mediation. That's what I'm trying to say. First, let's sit together and ask ourselves or discuss within ourselves, what is mediation for us, and whether people through that mandatory process where opt-out is an option but still, is that mediation? But let's get Patrick in. We'll go. These conversations will happen. Have to keep doing this, because luckily, if you're saying you don't have that legislation, yes, Patrick.
It's great to hear, and this actually exchange shows how colorful mediation can be. And the question is, what we are doing this for eventually, to settle a dispute, to help settling a dispute. And I always, when I'm being asked what's the difference between mediation, arbitration, I don't know, courts, proceedings, or conciliation, or whatever. I mean, just for the sake of the background, I'm a Polish lawyer, but a Germany-educated mediator, That's why I understand both of these dispute resolution settlements. I always ask, where's this third party? Whether it's next to you or in front of you, or whether it decides, whether it gives the last binding words, binding decision, or whether it helps or facilitates the parties to finding decisions themselves. That's how I treat those differences. And interestingly, because again, I mean, I have a very strong feeling that we are again at the understanding and the question of understanding what is what and how we approach things, but also when it comes to the cultures, because leaving aside this mandatory mediation, which from my experience works well in Italy, for instance. I'm just wondering whether to put in the middle the concern of the people who are in conflict. And whether you give them hearts or whether you give them a well-written settlement or help them write the settlement, or whether you have a very good court proceedings which allow them to settle the case, it's about using different tools to reach the same thing. For instance, Janusz mentioned this high number of cases in Poland, which is true, but the question is how you count it, and that many of them are very, very small claims. And interestingly, when it comes to the value. And that is the issue, I think, how to go to mediations with those small amount disputes where the emotions are high, but the monetary value is low. That would be a great approach to discuss, because our society is a litigious society. We like to go to the courts, but the question is what happens in that courts whether you are forced to wait for the first meeting with a judge for half a year. One of my colleagues told me that they were waiting for the dispute for the divorce settlement for a half a year just to see the judge, which is crazy, because they already settled between themselves what they want to do. They are even not litigious between themselves, but they need the judge to give the stamp over their, divorce settlement. So this is crazy. These phenomena are crazy. And I think, speaking now, putting my lawyer hat, we cannot also compare apples to oranges with American legal system, where the whole litigation American system is based on cut the deal, make the deal, and go on. So they really talk about money because, and that's completely differently. When I was being taught the mediation in Germany, it comes in I don't know how it's being taught in Poland. Sorry for that, but it comes from the family mediation. So there's a lot of discussion about exactly. More the impact, the focus is more on emotions than on the deal, on the process, but on emotions than on the merits of the issue itself. So what I'm simply saying is, and that's my motto for the end, it's about helping those peoples in big conflict, big concern, regardless where this conflict comes from, whether it's more, emotions oriented or monetary deals, cuts. That's exactly the role of a mediator eventually, to help them use the proper tools as well. And that's what I wanted to say. Very, very interesting debate that we're having.
No, but this discussion, what happened was that these discussions, we had lots of these discussions. But what happens is that the circle part, I wanted it to be different. I didn't want, like Nicole left. That's when these discussions happen. The people who are actually going to take mediation forward in her college, I wanted her to create the circle, but people like that leave because mediation gets discussed around the court system, around lawyers, around all whatever is happening in terms of legislation. That's not, that exists, but then I said, okay, this is you're banging your head against a brick wall because there are vested interests, self-interests, which is creating that. Let's now go into the two people. So Malgorzata, she's had to leave, but I'm just saying that we have to get them in and talk about how at the grassroots level where we can create things which have nothing to do with what we just discussed, because this world which is discussing this is still for me a small percentage of what really is happening in relation to conflicts, misunderstanding, fights, many more than what is going to courts also. That in India, they had some survey and it said maybe only 3%. And they gave a large variance. They said between 3% and 25% go into courts. And that's huge difference. That's like, you just have to create statistics maybe. But 3% of disputes, maybe only they go into courts. What about all the other ones which are all lying there? So maybe that culture can develop with people experiencing it, with issues which maybe they have not taken to courts or not gone to lawyers, maybe there, but let them experience it. For me, it's just about how they experience the people. But Carolina hasn't said anything. But so, Carolina, what are your thoughts?
It's hard to say because I lost my connection for a while and didn't hear the last things you were talking about. So it's difficult for me to get into the conversation. But if as it comes to me, I think that all of us have circles of people where we try to mediate or to talk about mediation, or just to show them the way of resolving the disputes in such a way. And I think that it's the problem is that people in Poland, I don't know if they they are educated, because there are so many information about mediation, but we still have a problem that it's on a basic level that people don't have, they do not believe the way that the mediation process is concerned by people, because also when we think about courts, it's also there are judges who believe in mediation, and one thing is that there are many mediations from those judges, and those mediations have resulted in agreements. But there are a lot of judges who think that if they are not able to resolve the dispute between parties and tell them that they can take an agreement before the court, so they don't, that there's no need to mediate. So I think that the process of changing the attitude to mediation in Poland is quite difficult, and it's hard to find the reasons why so, for me.
No, I think, Carolina, what we really need to do is that we have to see what are we looking at. Is our target the next 1 year? Is our target 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years? Now, for me, it is the long term. For that, the first thing is that culture that has been pushed into the whole world. And I say it's also a colonial concept also, that courts is where you go to for dispute resolution, and lawyers have to be part of it. This concept by itself, this conditioning of the mind to remove it is going to take years. It's going to, and how do we change it? Change it by people actually at least experience conflict resolution without an authority figure. That's the first thing. So, which is in schools itself, you'll be very surprised that at a very young age, they start getting into this mindset that an authority figure will help us resolve this. A teacher or a principal or whoever, it gets ingrained into their mind so early. So we have to remove the authority figure out of the picture of dispute resolution. For that, it has to be their space. It has to be their mediator, the person that they trust. You have to start that culture right there, which is, like I said, school is going to be the first thing, of course, but colleges is all right. Even communities, families, everywhere, it's all right. But the point is that the first step of actually experiencing resolution, where you actually sat together and you resolved something which was a solution that you came out, changes a person's thought process towards conflict resolution totally. So I'm saying let them in a community, could be some neighbors having an issue, finding a person within the community who has that mindset coming in and just experiencing resolution. And I'm not saying that, I mean, all of you, if you are creating those circles around the spaces where you are, just get in at that level. At least help them resolve it before it is as such called a dispute. So, I mean, to change a culture, in this whole concept of we'll go there, we'll teach you about mediation, we'll tell you about mediation, all that has not worked anywhere. The whole thing is that it is a process which is natural. I mean, it just comes naturally to some people. And I give this example, just on the road today, just bang your car with someone. Immediately, you'll get the mediator in, you'll get the lawyer in, you'll get the peacemaker in. Suddenly, all of them come together. I'm not saying about, I don't know about Poland in relation to population. India, we have enough population. So wherever you bang your car, there are enough people out there. And immediately, those natural aspects come in. So we have our young member of the circle. Carolina, what's your friend's name?
It's Fiona.
You have to start a circle in his school. We have to ask them that one question. Do you know someone in your... Ask him right now, Carolina. Ask him, does he know anyone in his school who helps their friends resolve fights?
He's 5, so he's not
Yeah.
at school yet.
Even does he have friends? Does he play with some friends in where you live?
Yeah, he's in kindergarten.
So ask him. Ask him that question. It's really interesting. Just let's ask that if you have fights with someone, is there some friend of yours who helps you resolve it? I mean, the words you'll have to use simple words, but can you ask? That's interesting. Let's see. It's an experiment I've done in a lot of my shows also. Because you'll be very surprised that actually the answers I get is really nice. And they know the difference between the mediator and the peacemaker also. Yes, our friend is coming in. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
How are you?
Fine. Fine.
Okay, your mother is going to talk to you in Polish and she's going to ask you a question. Carolina, please ask him. Does he know anyone in his friends? If there's a fight between friends, is there someone who helps them?
Czy ktoś ci pomaga, jak się kłócicie? Kto ci pomaga, żeby się pogodzić, jak się kłócisz? Jacyś koledzy ci pomagają? Po polsku powiedz. Filip. Yeah, he says he's got a friend who helps him when he's arguing with somebody else.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're all there. We sitting here think that this is some concept that has to be taught to people. It's come naturally to that. So what's his friend's name who does that? That's the person we have to come and we have to have a conversation with. Yes.
Philip.
So Carolina, we know a peacemaker or a mediator in that space that he's playing in. Right here. The examples are right there. So similar question goes out to everyone you know. And let's bring these people who are outside the mediation world. Then that's when mediation is going to actually grow. Yes, Janus, please.
I'm not sure if I understand your point, Vikram, well, but I think you are trying to engage us to take the mediation out of the legal context, yes, just to the grassroots, like you said, to the deepest level of the social life, to the kindergarten, like Carolina's son, I think. So I think a lot of Polish mediators, we do a lot about this, because in Poland we have the mini mediation method used in the kindergartens. And we also, a lot of us, we are working with the peer mediation in the school conflicts, and we found the school mediation centers, and there's a group of mediators, peer mediators at some teachers who are trained mediators. And this is so close to my heart, that take mediation out of the legal context, because in Poland, I'm not sure if you're aware, the history of mediation is there was an experiment of juveniles offenders, and they get into mediation. And then we were trying to evaluate what the problems with the law they have after being in the mediation. And there was good results. So we introduced the mediation to the penal code and then to the juveniles. And in 2005, we introduced in the civil cases, etc. And so in the family cases as well. So we are doing the education maybe since 2000, yes, and we are doing this for 25 years almost, and we are still educate people. You don't have to go to the court. Mediation is better, and you have a control, and this is your voice, this is your situation with your neighbor. So my experience is now there's more and more people who are coming to Mediator, and they have no court trial started. So they want to settle, discuss, and maybe try to find a solution, and then go to the court just for the stamp, like Małgorzata said, just for acceptance and the paper from the court and making it legal important.
Jonas,
So
let me tell
we are
you.
doing,
No,
yeah.
no. Let me tell you that today mediation in any case is outside the court system. It's outside the purview of lawyers, because the only mediation really in terms of numbers that is happening is by people who have that mindset, and they're doing it all the time, which you got the example from someone who's not even in kindergarten. There are people who doing it, and that's where the numbers are, except that there is this whole concept that, oh, we are trained, we are the mediators, and which I call the colonization of mediation. That people say that we are mediators because we've been trained, and these people are not mediators because they have no training. And that's one thing, fundamental issue I have with the way people are promoting mediation itself as some technical rocket science. And we are going to bring that to you. And in peer mediation also, we are going to come to your school and we are going to teach you. The word teach, the moment it starts there, this thing is going in the wrong direction. What I'm saying is that here you are coming into a school, asking them this question. We asked Carolina's son, this was of course on Zoom, whatever he could tell us. We are asking them that question, that who are those children? And each one will tell us, give us those names. We are asking them to share their experiences. They are going to, because of someone sharing their experience, the other person will relate to it. And whether they want to get this person into their fight and ask them to help them, that's up to them. I mean, what we're telling them is that this is happening in your school, this is happening with your friends. So same thing moves to college. No difference. Same thing moves into communities, into families, into organizations, because if you don't have those people with the mindset and what we call this whole, what I call 40-hour factories, and will make you a mediator, then you're demeaning mediators. You're actually devaluing mediators. That's if that is how you make mediators, then artificial intelligence. This is what I've been saying. That's why I'm saying I created that circle. If you can program people to be mediators, artificial intelligence will do 1,000,000 times better. And it's doing it. And you try it sometime, pick up any of these platforms and tell it to be the mediator. And you just have to give the right prompts. You ask it to be the mediator, that you are now in the mediation session. Take us to the session. It'll ask you to say something. Take it, try it. So I'm better off that doing it, rather than telling people that this is mediation that we are bringing to you with something that has been created somewhere, and suddenly now we are going to in some way impart some knowledge to you. That's where it's gone wrong for me. I mean, that's why it did not develop even after 25 years. If the people have been taken through this, those people have gone into college, into workplaces, they've gone into the government, they've gone everywhere, but that hasn't helped in terms of the development of mediation. So the starting point, even telling people about using the word mediation, I don't want to do. What did this person do? Okay, this person did this. Okay, and then how did the person go about it? The person went about this way. Okay, this is what they did. Okay, this is what is called mediation, or whatever word in Polish it is called. That's what connecting them through that route is the way up. I am looking at it because I've spoken to people around the world, and I've seen that whatever has really happened hasn't helped in really developing it. I mean, we want to developing, for me, means on an everyday basis, people at least have someone to go to. And that's where this global database comes in, finding the right people, putting them all together first, and then you go out and say that, yes, people, why don't you use this process? Well, no use to even telling them to use the process, because if they don't have the right people to help them, it's not going to go anywhere. But Malgorzata wanted to say, what is it Margaret, or is it going to be Malgorzata? How do we say it?
My name is in English.
Margaret?
Yes, Margaret. Yes, in Italiano, Margherita. Okay, what I wanted only, because I should disconnect, but I wanted only to say, I understand your approach as more peacemaker, peacemaker program, and the other one, the approach of mediation proceedings in legal context, as Janusz mentioned. So these are two approaches, as I also said, education, and then maybe analysis about mandatory mediation. But I cannot agree with you that in some contexts they are not forced, because even though they are not mandatory, and we like talking about USA mediation and so on, but they are indirect forces for people. For example, the legal service is so high cost that they are really forced to do it sometimes. Okay, so I am not I'm not pretty sure that we have to analyze. I think that's also, I am not a social psychologist, but I think people need some kind of encouragement. And in different spaces, in Poland is different, in India it will be different. As I said, I am not a specialist, but I will be interested if you know any analysis about that, because maybe it would be useful for us to understand what Polish people need to be encouraged. Because sometimes I think that the parties don't want to mediate because they feel like losers. Oh, you are going into mediation, so you are like a loser. And here, I think there should be a generation like pass, because it will be difficult to work in. But I think it's worth noting that the approach may differ for adults compared to small children. So also here,
no, never. I'm telling you that because when I say this, people start, like you said, oh, this is the peacemaker thing. This is not. Look, the organized concept of mediation that has been attempted to create, one only serves for me the purpose of the people who are training mediators. They are the ones who make the money, or it serves the purpose of the courts. It doesn't serve mediation at all anywhere. I mean, and cultural, why do people go for mediation or don't go for mediation, you will see that it remains the same throughout. But where it has developed, you will see that it hasn't developed because of the courts. Ecuador is one example. We'll speak to them, like when we have the gathering of the World Mediation Circle, speak to people from Ecuador. It didn't go through the court system, but they're doing very good work there. And they're doing work in relation to the government. It's used in government, is used in relation to insolvency. They're using it, I mean, they're actually using it for, of course, commercial disputes and all that also. So it's, and did not come from the courts at all. There was no concept of mandatory one. So this thought that Italy sold this concept around the world, that mandatory, send them to a session. But yes, send them to a session. But finally, why did they settle in that session? Ask them that reason. And the fact that the court, like I said, the judiciary is inefficient or it costs so much. And because of that, if you settle, for me, that's not mediation. It might be for other people. They might call that mediation. I don't call that mediation. The point is to settle for the right reasons. The right reasons means when you understand the other person, which is where heart, soul, spirituality, humanistic approach comes in. We want to understand you. What was the issue? What are your interests? When you talk about interests and all that, we keep talking about it. But if it comes into mediation, the interest is now whether I can actually settle this and not spend so much, or I can save time. If that's your interest and that's the way you look at mediation, perfectly all right. What's wrong with that? Let it happen, and that people call that mediation. But I am trying, for me, that's not, there should be no reason for you to settle only because it's going to take time or it's going to cost. Like you said, legal fees is so much, and it's always sold that way. It is much cheaper to do mediation. No, it's not about cheaper or expensive. It is a route that you're taking because you have this approach towards dispute resolution. And that comes from developing a certain culture. First thing is, lawyers you do not go to when you have a dispute. How do we get that out of people's mind? This has been drilled into people's mind over years. So first, can we get that done? Then, should my lawyers be sitting in mediations? Get that out of people's mind. A lawyer is supposed to be an expert in the law. When there is a legal situation to be discussed, issue to be discussed, we'll bring in the lawyer. And I keep giving this example, you'll hear me sometimes. If there's a project, in a project, you might need a civil engineer to come in, an architect to come in, some dispute, you need a valuer to come in, you might need a psychologist to come in, you might need a therapist to come in. We don't know who we want to bring in. These are people you bring in. So whole concept of what is mediation itself, people have not understood. Mediation is a process where someone is assisting you and helping you get in whoever you have to bring in. In Greece, a lawyer has to sit into that mediation. You've not understood the concept itself, and you created legislation based on that, because lawyers control dispute resolution in countries. No one wants to say that, okay, we'll do something, lawyers will not like it. I mean, get that out of people's head. When a government's going to be strong enough to do that? So there's a lot of on the other side. So we won't get into that part. There are enough self-interest, invested interests on the other side. But to say that the kind of mediation that I'm saying again, saying I'm expecting all of you to be looking at it from that way. The humanistic approach, the collaboration, the heart, soul, spirituality, all those kinds of things. If you're looking at it from that perspective, perfectly, that's a different approach. But if you're looking at, let's force these people to sit together, and they've gone into court, and tell them, now it's going to take you so long, settle. I feel that's a little, and they might settle. And the point is, like Jaru said, idea is they should settle. That's not that's if that's the idea, definitely that's a nice approach. Bring them in, sit together. But for me, it's now down to people that developing that culture. But Patrick, yes, please. Anything you want to say before you want to leave?
Very engaging debate, indeed.
This will not happen. We won't happen. We won't let that happen again.
I repeat, very colorful. Thanks for being me, for letting me be a part of this conversation.
And
wish you all the best, and hope we can reconnect.
You know that we meet on the 3rd Monday of the month.
Lovely.
So 20th of May, we are meeting at the same time, which is 4 o'clock Poland time. Right?
I'll do my best. I don't promise. Today I was lucky, but let's do it then in May.
But also what you have to do is you have to create some circles. You have to ask children, you have to ask college students, you have to talk to some family, you have to talk to some community, some organization. So next time we meet, just that experience of when you spoke to them about it, could you identify some people and bring them into the next gathering? People who are working on the ground, it's a way of life for them, which is, we have to start bringing those people. So you'll be happy when people come in, a child of 5 or a person at 70, it doesn't matter. All of them, it's a mindset concept. Let's bring them in.
Great advertising indeed. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you very much, Patrick. So yeah, so of course, Janus, I don't know what his thoughts are based on what I just said, but how do we take this forward now? It's not, this debate will go on for life, whether mandatory or not, or whether we should do that. But that's for disputes which have gone to courts. How can we create a culture where people, first of all, do not look at lawyers to go to when they have a dispute? Can we create that culture? Is it possible, first of all, at all? And if it's possible, what are the ways to do it? For me, I said the ways that, what is the option they have? Today, they don't have that option. Maybe they don't even know someone whom to go to. So that kind of thing. So, but Margarita and Margaret Malgosata needs to leave in 4 minutes. Should we get her in? Is that okay? Yes. Yes, Malgosata. What do you want to?
No, it's okay for me. I only wanted to inform you that I will have to disconnect. I'm very happy that Mediation Circle Poland is growing. So I'm also trying to involve people, and maybe yes, sometimes one could be present, sometimes the other one, and I think this mindset is going to change slowly. But yeah, we have to. I am optimist, but sometimes the realism is needed. So
no, you will. What you'll be really, I'm telling you, you'll be really happy when you bring these people in who are out there. Just by this one question, you will suddenly get these names. And when you bring them in, and then you'll realize there is so much more which is happening in mediation outside this little mediation world that we've created. So much in relation to mediation. They will teach us. When it comes to reflective practice, you will hear from them and you'll be so happy, because the point is, certain things are not theoretical. Some things have to be experienced, and mediation is one of those things. It's like your child, Carolina's son, walking. He was not told that this bone in the body and that muscle and that you do this. He did not know the technical aspects of the human body, but was walking. Same thing with conflict resolution. This whole theory that has been created, that theory connects people who have in some way either the mindset or they've experienced something. They connect with that theory, but it's not a theoretical thing. Same thing about, again, Janus, you'll hear this example a lot of times I give, this whole thing about being a mother. Tomorrow, you're going to say that we will certify you to be a mother, only then can you be a mother. But actually, when a child comes into the mother's lap, she knows what she has to do. It doesn't have to be trained to do that. It comes naturally to that mother. And if you are going to start training mothers, you're going to say, this is the way you have to be a mother. Can you really tell any mother that? That means Janus and Margarita and Vikram and Carolina all have to come out the same way. So it's something which, I mean, these are like the human, this is human interaction. And for me, it is something which really, to get into this whole theoretical world for it and scaring people out of mediation, I think that we do, and creating this class distinction. I don't want to do that. I really want to bring out these people. So Carolina, you wanted to say something before you leave?
No, just to say thank you for the possibility to be part of this conversation. It was very interesting, and I hope I will be able to join you next time.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Hello. Yes. Bye. Your son's friend. You have to speak to your son's friend. You, Carolina, will you do that? Will you speak to your son's
Yes.
friend who helps in resolving fights?
Yes, sir.
And then we will tell us about it next time we meet.
Yeah.
And similarly with anyone else that you know.
Okay.
Anyone, wherever. You don't have to leave. I mean, you said you have 5 minutes. You can stay.
Okay.
I just wanted to bring you in before you
Yeah.
left.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you very
Bye.
much.
Thank you very much for coming in. So Janus, also any last words, anything that you want to?
Yeah, I think this building the new mindset, because I would say in Poland, in our culture of resolving conflicts, we have to build new mindset. More, I would say more consensual mindset, because we are fighters, and maybe it's our history, maybe it's our mentality, and we were under the pressure of Soviet Union. There is a lot of issue to we have to discuss. So I'm also, it's so close to me, like you said, Vikram, that we have to build new mindset, that the mediation is valuable because of it is mediation, and we don't have to compare mediation to the court trial or etc. You know, about money, about time, about emotions. We should to show people that this is valuable, and so it is good to sit next to each other and discuss the possible solutions, and discuss about my perspective, your perspective, and what we can do with this conflict. And I think the issue is only, in my experience, that how to teach people this new mindset and how to show them. And we go to the schools and we go to the streets even, and we make a lot of actions, etc. We found some money, for example, from Norway, and we propose people, if you would like to go to the mediation, you don't have to pay for this, because we have the donor and he will pay for this. Just try. Maybe it's something good for you and for your conflict. And we have a lot of people in my mediation center, that people are coming back with different issue. That I was as a party in a conflict with my neighbor, because I am a farmer and there was a problem with the field. So now I'm going back to you with my sister, because our father died, and we would like to discuss what about the future, and what about the grave and the place of where we put our father into the ground. So I think the people who just met mediator and they discovered and experienced mediation, then, and it was quite good. So there was, opportunity to discuss, to dialogue, to talk to each other, and there was no settle-oriented mediation. That you have to settle, you have to settle, you have to settle because of my statistics as a mediator. You have to settle, and I will not let you out because you have to settle. So when the people they can discuss and they experience good dialogue, they will get back, or they will tell the people, okay, I've been to the mediator and he is or she is quite good, and there was a lot of possibility to discuss. Maybe you should try this one. And, you know, this is a this kind of recommendation. And we are doing a lot. And I think sometimes there's a lack of money, for example, to go to the street and to prepare the papers at, you know, the kind of promotional gadgets or something. But we are doing what we can, and I think it's getting better and better each year. And I would like to, in next, for example, 5 years or 10 years, that my first thing in the mediation would be go to the mediator, not go to the court.
Exactly.
Go to the mediator. And I would like to find this mindset. So.
Absolutely. No, for me, I'm telling you how I am thinking of doing it is, which I was said that once we are going into any place, which would be the community, for college, family, school, or organization, when we ask this question and get those people, we will record that little experience of theirs. So this is what I did, or this was what the issue was, and we'll create these little newsletters for each. It could be for each circle. Then we have a Poland newsletter, and then we have the world one, where these experiences are put down, so that first of all, that person in that space, which would be, like I said, school, college, or wherever, gets identified. First of all, you need to value these people, because they never get spoken about. Who's going to speak about what they did? It just happened. They did it as a way of life for them. So no one even thought that they've done something. Point is, that is what never gets spoken about. So here we'll speak about those little experiences, so that, look, in terms of teaching people, you don't need to teach them at all, because actually they might have experienced it. They did not know, but it comes to them. Otherwise, it's as some technical thing we are going to come and talk to you about. So I want to get that totally out of the way. People are going to talk about it with their little experiences. We'll record those experiences, send it out into the communities, and two things will happen. One, they'll get to know, okay, this was the kind of issue, and they actually got this person in and they resolved it. I also have some issue like that. Why don't we also try it? Oh, we don't know anyone. Oh, there is this person in our community. It is in that newsletter, that person's name. We'll give their contact details if the person wants us to. Contact this person. Slowly, of course, it'll be a way of life for that person. But if other people contact this person, and that person can actually look at it as something which gives them money, I want them to earn out of it. And then if they think that this is a passion for them and they can actually make money out of it, why don't they do it on a full-time basis? So that should be a target, maybe 10 years, maybe whatever. I'm not saying it's going to be, might be immediate, but let's put these people out there. That's what my first attempt is. And if those experiences also to be recorded and sent out, local, national, global, all that we'll put out. So that culture develops by them actually connecting with the process being something happening right next to them. Oh, that friend. I'm telling you, of course, Carolina's son, we don't have a conversation with. But if we could actually find out what this person did, and that little kid talks about it, and that goes out into, if he was in kindergarten, then goes out in kindergarten, and you value those people who are doing it. Give them something special. In some places, like in terms of peer mediation, you have some identification for these peer mediators. My only little issue with peer mediation was the fact that we are coming teaching you something. I don't want that at all to happen, because then we are trying to say that we know something which you don't, but they know it all, and their skill will develop once they practice it. So give them opportunities to practice it. And for college also, this is what the way I'm putting it out there, that these college students create a circle. They identify those people in that college, so they have, and we are not wanting to bring everyone into this community. Maybe that's the difference here. I'm saying the people who have that mindset, who feel that yes, they should sit together and they want to resolve things, only create that little community to start with. So it's a community within a community. We don't want everyone right now. So get those people together, spread that word. Okay, these people exist, and talk about their experiences. Then the second stage is that these college students go out into their families and communities. They go out and do the same thing, identify these people there. They are going to now, I'm telling them that if you have the mediator mindset, ask these people whom you, if there are disputes within your family or your community, tell them, look, I'll come in, I'll help you resolve it. For either they will let you, if they let you, if they don't, then they have people like you, because you are the face for that circle. So they have, no, we have Janus there. He's practicing as a media. I bring them in. So he's marketing, they're marketing your practice also. So your practice gets marketed. These children otherwise can also, because the first thing, let them start resolving these disputes. They are practicing it, so their skill is developing. They bring you in, you come in as a co-mediator. So you've giving them that confidence that yes, they can handle a lot of things. They bring you in when they have to bring you in. So they are practicing it. So their skill is developing. You can handle so many more matters, because we won't be able to find too many people who really have that mindset. We don't want the ones whom you make in factories. We don't want that. We want people who have that mindset and that humanistic approach and that whole heart soul spirituality. So we have limited people. They can handle much more. So that practice goes into a community. From that community, it goes into organizations and further into workplaces and all. So the whole thing then can develop from that. I mean, that's my little thought on how we take it. So for today, I think maybe we've done a little too much, but Sada, thank you very much. And Sada, she was the one who started the coordinating.
It was so interesting that I wanted to be at the end. So thank you very much. It was great pleasure to see and meet my Polish colleagues. And yes, we also need these interconnections even in Poland. I am absolutely right about our local mind and history, and we have to be aware of that. That maybe not the only path. There is not only path for mediation, and I think this is very interesting for me, and I don't understand really what is happening. That in one place it's more effective, in another not, and I hope there will be some social analysis. And only to end, I would say that maybe the next one we could focus also on refugee situation, because I'm coordinating in many projects of Ukraine. I am in Rzeszów, so we're almost on the border, and there will be a huge need. There is, but there will be. And in Rzeszów, this week is opening the Center of Integration Center, International Integration Center. So it would be a great place even to talk about mediation in the context, as you mentioned, like peaceful mindset.
Because what we'll do is that the monthly one we'll keep for the Poland mediation circle, so everyone can be part of it. But let's also start creating like the Poland refugee mediation circle, and people who want to work in that area, we'll get them for that. So we'll have a separate gathering for that. Then we'll have the Poland family mediation circle. Janus has already in a way created that. So let's do that as a separate gathering, so that at least those people who work in that area, because the larger one, there will be maybe too general a conversation. Maybe everyone will not want to be part of a much larger general discussion. In that situation, in the larger one, we should be talking about things like mediation legislation and this whole concept of how it's going through the courts and the mandatory part. And when we have other people from other countries getting in their experiences, we can do it in the larger one. But we should have these smaller ones also being created. So the school, college, organizational, family, refugee, all those, we should also start looking at people who want to work. We can announce that. Once let's get people in first, then we can ask people where they want to go. So yes, Janus, does that sound all right?
Yeah. No, thanks. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
It was nice to meet Małgorzata as well. Nice to see you.
Please, you people are connected. Are you connected on LinkedIn or something?
I will. Yes, I will try to find Małgorzata.
But Janus, Janus, when do you want to do a gathering of the Poland family mediation circle?
In 3 days. In 3 days, we have a 22nd meeting of Polish family mediators. I checked in our calendar confirmation. There will be 40 people.
Perfect. So maybe you can introduce
the
concept that I think for them, the interest would be that it is because these are being created around the world. So a little global kind of thing would maybe of interest to everyone. So for that reason, I mean, whatever reason people want to come in, so we can then fix another for date. You can fix your date. You can tell me, and we'll bring people into that conversation. Yeah.
I think maybe when we will have the next war, this Polish mediation circle, so I will let them know about this opportunity, and maybe the English-speaking mediators, they will come and they will share the
Janusz, let the Polish ones also come. That's the important
Polish
part.
ones. Okay,
Keep
okay,
your
so
language Polish. I've told you
So-
what my thoughts
so
are.
we
So
are touching the artificial intelligence and the translation activities. So
I am saying even if
okay.
I don't have to say anything, I can keep quiet. But for me, the most important thing is that if whoever you feel has that mindset, that's the most important. But that identification you have to do. We don't have to bring everyone in. It's those people whom you know. Those people. I'm telling you, you know those people. Bring those people in, and at least to start with, yes, they are maybe familiar with each other, so at least they will also want to know what are we doing here. We already have our gatherings happening. They will do that, but maybe the first one is only to maybe just introduce themselves, and maybe they're also interested in other areas. Maybe they could be working on the school, college, refugee, or organizational, whatever. But let's get them in, keep that separate gathering, and then we'll have the international one, which we'll do after some time. Let all these gatherings happen for the each of the circles. Then we'll do the international one, and then that interaction can happen there. But the other ones also, school, college, and all, also please speak to whoever you know. We've got Nicole. Nicole came in. Nicole will help us. Even if one college we do it in, we'll get that experience. They can then become the model to take it to other colleges, because they've look, this is something that it will be have to be refined within each of the spaces which are created. All these sociological issues that you're talking about, do they really exist, or is it just a general concept that people have developed? Because if there are people who exist who do not have that mindset that we should be adversarial, let's just bring them together first. Why do we, like I said, 38 million people together? Maybe we don't have to bring them in. We can get fewer ones. And if people feel that, yes, these people are doing good things together, there's some good energy happening, they want to they change their mindset. If they have an adversarial event, they can change it. And which I said, look, I'm telling you, if you really right now, it's thoughts that I'm putting out, maybe you feel, what is he really talking about? But this has all been tested practically. They've all been tested practically. It's just to get you people to do it. So here we have one example, like that, say Carolina's son came in, or Malgozata's daughter came in. When you talk to them and they give you those names, and when you have conversations with those people, then you'll know we have a future for it. You get positive about it. So that's what I want you to do. Once you get positive about it, then you'll start talking to other people, and you bring in money, many more. Just one WhatsApp message circulated around, you'll start getting names. So just do that. 1 month, just do that. Just circulate the message. Do you know someone who helps people resolve fights, misunderstandings, relationship issues, anything? Just that one thing, because beyond the formal mediation world, there is a whole mediation world sitting there, which is not coming together. So we're bringing them together. But only thing is, while we were here, there were some comments on LinkedIn which I didn't take up. I should have taken them up. Someone saying that lawyers sometimes are useful during a mediation process. They might not speak, but give advice to the client. So this is where we have to explain to people like Emmy that the advice is not always required in relation to, it's not always the law which is being discussed. There is not about legal positions which are being discussed. There's much more which happens in mediation. So bring them in when that advice is required, and also identify lawyers who have that mindset, who are actually going to be able to assist the process, not become lawyers for one part. So this whole another thing, another oxymoron, Janus Malgozada, mediation advocacy. Today you're talking about training programs in mediation advocacy. I find that an oxymoron. You don't do advocacy in mediation. That is again a concept that is being sold, that a lawyer comes in, has to do advocacy. No, this is not that kind of a process. You have to help them reach a solution somewhere. So it's a total different mindset for those lawyers also. So we bring in those kind of things. But then also about my artificial intelligence, I think people we need to discuss is as AI and mediation, wondering how that plays out. So please just go today to ChatGPT or Copilot or whichever other platform and ask it to be the mediator. Take an actual issue and take it through, and you'll be very surprised what all today where artificial intelligence has reached. And then Isabel is saying greetings from Portugal. So hi Isabel, we have to create the Portugal mediation circle. Gloria's greetings from Spain. So Gloria was part of the Spain Mediation Circle launch. So yeah, there of course comments on that. So Emmy will take you through. We'll talk about it. So that's about it. Thank you very much. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Both of you. Of
Thanks.
course, we're meeting next month, and before that, whenever you people want, college, school, family, organization, Margotata, any of those all circles that you, if you want to launch and you have enough people, Nicole is there. We can do a Poland college mediation circle. We can launch that. She can get her friends and talk to other college students, and we can at least get them to start doing it in their college. They can create a college, a circle in their college. Get people who have that mindset together. You'll see when you start doing it. You'll see how it works. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
See you 20th. We're
See you
seeing.
then.
I'm seeing you, but before that also, whenever we have these other gatherings. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank you very
Janos.
much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.